In the depths of the Cold War, the future was not built on concrete, but on impossible promise. We were promised tomorrow. We were promised the sky. But few designs matched the staggering, nuclear-fueled ambition of Project Orion, a civilian marvel that remains locked in the archives of a future that never arrived. This was not a military asset. It was a vision for the skies, a perpetual-motion hotel, powered by the atom, carrying the elite across the world in luxurious silence. Today, we unseal the files on Project Orion, investigating why this colossal, airborne fantasy was ultimately grounded by reality and by fear. The concept was revolutionary. Imagine a ship capable of staying airborne indefinitely, requiring no refueling, powered only by a compact nuclear fission reactor. The ship itself, massive enough to host hundreds of passengers, was designed as a floating city, a self-contained ecosystem above the clouds. Amenities included observation decks, ballrooms, and luxury suites, all far removed from the turbulent world below. It was the ultimate statement of American technological supremacy. The goal was simple: to make air travel so seamless and permanent that destination ceased to be the point. The journey was the lifestyle. The driving force behind Orion was a clandestine team of engineers operating out of a hidden government facility. Men convinced that nuclear energy was not just safe, but the foundation of all future civilian endeavors. They calculated that the lift generated by superheating compressed air using the reactor would be sufficient to keep the massive structure aloft without traditional jet engines. Their designs were meticulous, incorporating layers of heavy shielding to protect passengers from the reactor core. They believed the risk was minimal, a necessary trade-off for boundless power. But even within their inner circles, dissent emerged. Could a reactor that heavy truly be stable? And what were the consequences of a failure above a densely populated city? The flaw in Project Orion was ultimately not technological, but political and logistical. The sheer scale of the ship proved an insurmountable challenge. The cost of the specialized alloys, the difficulty of maintenance in flight, and the ethical impossibility of establishing a landing and refueling ground for a nuclear vessel became obvious. Furthermore, public trust in nuclear technology had already begun to wane. The promise of luxury could not overcome the persistent, chilling fear of airborne radiation exposure. The military, initially interested in the massive lift capacity, quickly pivoted to simpler, non-nuclear propulsion, leaving the civilian Orion project completely isolated and unfunded. Project Orion was quietly shelved in 1965, a victim of its own colossal, impossible vision. It remains a fascinating remnant of a future where power was infinite and risk was routinely dismissed. It begs the question, what other marvelous, terrifying futures were drawn up on the drafting tables of the Cold War, only to remain forever in the archives?